I just recently went through an interview and a couple of interviews, two of them with a company, and it sounded really, positive and everything. And then I got an email back saying, "Yeah, you're not a good fit." And I was like, "Oh," I took it to the heart, right? And people usually do, but it is what
It,
it
it,
is. Oh yeah, definitely does. I know you said your wife is a teacher too, or she was a teacher.
she was a teacher. She retired. Yeah, so she taught sixth grade language arts and literature for years and
That
years.
is, yeah, that is a hard grade to teach. I taught fifth grade, and fifth grade was like my limit. I was like,
Yeah,
those hormones and the attitudes, no, I'm good.
yeah.
Have you ever hired someone just based on whether or not you liked them?
I think that liking them and those soft skills are important. Uh, the resume is not as important because I'm not
Right.
hiring resume writers. I'm hiring people to create business value. So it's not about writing code, it's how do we create business value? So really
Yeah.
looking for people that, are people going to be people that we can get along with on the team? Resumes are a really poor proxy for what people's actual qualifications are. Unfortunately, they're the best thing that we have. Looking for something better, but haven't found it yet. So we're kind of
Yeah.
stuck with that. Uh, One of the things that I really look for in a resume is how can what can you tell me about what you did that's different than what somebody else might have done? So as a teacher, if you list all of the standard things, I did lesson plans and I talked to parents and I taught
Right.
kids and I did this, that's a job description for what a generic teacher does. It doesn't tell me what did you do that's uniquely you? What did you accomplish? What differentiates you? Because those are the things that are going to get somebody's attention when we're looking at a resume.
Okay. So really having, setting yourself apart from just the general crowd and then also trying to showcase your talents, right? Showcase who you are and your character and let that outshine more past your resume.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is how do you communicate what you've accomplished as opposed to what actions, did you repeatedly do? So it's what you got done, not how you did it.
I think that, I mean, as a hiring manager, it must be hard though. You get a million different people just trying to, get through the door. How do you sort through that? Like, how do you choose who do you interview and who you move past and move forward with?
I would say that on a resume, I'm probably spending 15 to 30 seconds to look through and see what is there that's on there that makes you unique.
So only
Um,
15 to 30 seconds.
there's a lot of other things that I have to do in addition to this.
Totally.
If there's
Okay.
something that catches my attention, then I'll dig a little deeper. But the first thing is you have to catch my attention that makes it do
So
that.
what catches your attention though?
A lot of what will catch my attention is something that's not just a laundry list of here's all the technologies I've worked with, here's all the operating systems. Like that's interesting, but that's not a differentiator. If you tell me
Yeah.
what you've accomplished, what it is that you can bring to the table that somebody else may not, that's the kind of thing that's going to catch my attention. One of the examples I like to use to kind of describe this is if you're a carpenter, there's a couple ways that you could put that on a resume. You can say that, oh yeah, on this job, I hit 13,507 nails with a hammer. Or you could say, oh, I built 3 units of low income housing for people in my neighborhood.
There you go.
And so the outcome-based resume tells people a lot more about what you can bring than the activity-based.
Okay, okay, I see. Instead of just saying, hey, I'm a teacher, okay, well, what about being a teacher and what have you accomplished past being just your job duties? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, and what even as part of your job duties, what did you accomplish? Hey, I helped this many kids get past, a reading difficulty. I helped, you know,
Yeah.
this many parents understand what was going on. I talked to this many parents without smacking them around, although I really wanted
Stop
to.
it. And that's the truth. No, sometimes though. No, I
And it could be
definitely
really
get that.
frustrating. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that teachers bring is that communication with a broad array of people. You're dealing with students, you're talking to other teachers, you're coordinating with counselors, you're working with administrators, you have to deal with parents, and you have to meet
We
people
do.
where they are. And every
Totally.
individual is different. I think one of the things when we talk about kids with special needs, we talk
Yeah.
about an IEP, right? So it's an
I
individual
love that you
education
know
plan.
that.
And and really every we have
Yeah,
to think about that for everybody. It's like, well, where is this person at? Where is this other teacher at? What's the right communication modality? You know,
totally.
how do I meet them where they are so they're going to be able to understand what I'm saying and I'm going to be able to understand what they're saying.
So just, I know that you're in with software engineering and just engineering in general. What if a teacher, let's say like me, wanted to go back to school and, get into, software engineering? What are some pieces of advice that you would give to someone that is transitioning out of the classroom and into a career like engineering?
So if you're interested in a career like engineering, especially software engineering, uh, the question I would recommend that you ask yourself is, did you like word problems in math when you were in grade school?
Stop it.
Because at its
Uh,
core, that's what software engineering is. You're given a
really?
word problem, you know,
Okay.
that is, oh, well, if I have this much stuff I'm loading on a plane, where do I need to put it in the plane so the plane's perfectly balanced so I can get the optimal amount of fuel? That's just a word problem. And
Okay.
so, if you enjoy that, if you don't enjoy that, programming may not be the best fit, or at least the back end programming. If you do, then it's kind of like how would be to start looking at courses to learn, explore a little bit more. How can you turn that word problem uh, capacity that you have or passion into, instead of writing down just formulas, you're actually typing code that's going to come up with answers for you.
Yeah, I don't know if the word problem thing would be good for me. Math has always been something I've struggled with, but uh, aside from that, I know there are a lot of teachers that watch that, are looking into other fields, and who knows? I mean, software engineering may be something that they're looking into, but if a teacher has no experience, let's just pretend a teacher has no experience in software engineering, but you're trying to hire them for something else. What would sway you to hire a teacher? Like, what do teachers bring that I guess are an asset to a company?
Well, I think that one of the things that teachers do really well is communicate complex ideas simply. They're One of the issues with engineers is we often get so tied up in all the little details of things that
Yep.
we don't start with explaining things. Here's the big picture, and kind of work our way down to the smaller things. There's often a tendency that we start at the smallest detail and we go through all the small details all the way to the other side, and then we wonder why you didn't understand. Um, and I think teachers are great at explaining things to the level of detail that's appropriate, right? If you're teaching kindergartners, you're not going to go as much in detail in math theory as you would with somebody that's in an AP class in high school.
Right.
So it's
Right.
it's understanding what's the right level to explain and how do you do that. As I mentioned before, it's being able to get along well with other types of people in different roles. there's a lot of personalities within the engineering group. There's going to be other people that are working, whether it's in product management, defining
Yeah.
what we're building, marketing people that want to know, how do I write this up and make this attractive to people? The salespeople want to know, how do I demo this? Everybody's got a different motivator. Um, Understanding what that is and how to communicate effectively with them is something that I think teachers really bring to this that a lot of other people can't.
Do you ever like have an interview with someone and you say no to them and then do you ever call them back? Like do people get a second chance at an interview, or have you had an email from someone that just made you want to, just contact them again?
Yeah, I've had some interviews with people where, you know, where they're referred by somebody that um, the candidate just didn't seem like the right fit, and somebody, that knew them and knew me called me and said, Jenson, I think you're making a mistake. You're going to want this person on your team. And I went back, brought her back in. We re-interviewed. We decided to give it a chance, and she has been an awesome employee, done a fantastic job. So,
That's good.
I think that's one of the advantages of having a big network on LinkedIn, is that you
Right.
have people that can speak up for you
Yeah.
and vouch for what you're doing, that may know the hiring managers.
So what can a candidate do though to just like get a second chance?
I think that what is important with that is, what did you learn in the interview? So if you
Okay.
blew a question in the interview,
Okay.
come back and tell me what the answer is. That tells me that, wow, you did the research, you found the answer, and you're communicating it back to me.
What if the interview went really well though? Like
If
you
the
you
interview,
came out of it feeling like it was great and that you answered all the questions correctly or what have you, or the rapport was great and you get the email back saying, hey, we're not going forward with you. Like how do you get a second chance, or is there a second chance that can be given?
I think that there is, I mean, I think part of that is just would be writing a thank you note.
Right.
A lot of people don't do that. So even if you get rejected, thank the manager for the opportunity. It was great talking with you, really enjoyed it. If there's
Right.
something it might be a fit, if you can say something about the position, the next time something comes up, you're going to be top of mind. And part of what is, you never know, is you might have been finishing, you might have been a really close second. So if it doesn't work out for that candidate, you're going to be the person that we call, especially if you demonstrate the personal skills of, following up, establishing the
Right.
rapport,
Yeah.
those
Building
kinds
that
of things.
relationship with
Yeah.
people and all of that.
One of the things that I try to do, and I wish more employers would do, is
Right.
because the managers are busy, often the managers don't take the time to write the rejection letter, uh, but just to explain, here's what's going on, here's why we made the decision we did. And there's some things we can't reveal, but if there's an area where I think you're strong, I want to let you know, hey, I thought you were really strong here,
I
here, and
love
here.
that.
Here's an area where I think you could improve, and here's some resources to, that you can look at to grow in that area.
Jensen. See, that's what we need. We
Because,
need
well, if we
that.
don't help
Yeah.
people grow, how are they, they're not going to be able to get the next job,
Right.
and if part of our obligation as leaders is, how do we help people to get where they want to get, even if they're not employed by us? How do we help people along?
Thank you for coming on today. And hopefully everyone can come and, follow you guys, follow you on LinkedIn. Is there any lasting tips or any messages that you would like to send out?
Yeah, I think the primary thing is, just is focus on what you bring to the table. Um, that's also a good way to stay positive as you're going through the interview process, because we will get rejected as you go through. Um, and look for people that can help mentor you and
Right.
guide you. LinkedIn is a fantastic resource for that.
It
So
really is.
those would
Yeah.
be my recommendations. So if you're interested in software engineering, my name is Jenson Crawford. You can reach me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/Jenson Crawford. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to communicate with people. And I'm excited to talk to people about software or technology or leadership, any number of things. So,
And not to mention, your wife is a retired teacher as well. So, hey,
and
he's
so
here to
we've
help all of us.
yeah, absolutely. I didn't know a lot about that.
You definitely do.
But
After hearing about, what an IEP is,
yeah.
much respect, Jensen. Well, thank you again for coming on.
All right. Thank you.